motorcycle taxis. We were able to zero in on the activities of 5 corporations. The 5 corporations are We Move Things Philippines Incorporated, Habal Rides Corporation, I Sabay 24/7, Sampadala Corporation, and Transserve Corporation. Ito pong 5 korporasyon po na ito ay operating as far as we are concerned. Meaning that meron po silang mga posts dun sa kanilang mga Facebook pages that they are already in the process of hiring mga motorcycle riders, that there is an ongoing training program for them. Some of them actually are already booking. Now, the problem with that is that obviously, merong threat. There's a threat that they are now offering their services to the public. And wala kami pakialam sa angkas dito. No? Ang concern ng LCSP is that since these 5 are not being regulated and monitored by the members of the technical working group, meaning, ultimong sino-sino ba yung mga drivers na hinahire nyo? Ano ba ang speed limits na nilalagay nyo? Gano ba yung displacement ng mga motorcycles? No, because the agreement with the TWG is that there has to be certain limitations and rules. No, because if you're going to have a pilot program, you have to have certain standards. Standards about conduct ng mga drivers. Standards about feedback mechanisms in case hindi maganda yung experience ng mga commuters. I mean, this is very, very important. Now, if these 5 are outside of that, then you now have a threat on the riding public, which LCSP is representing and is supporting. No? So, that's the reason why, since these 5 are, for our all intents and purposes, already operating as defined by law, we need to put a stop to that. No? And that's the purpose for the injunction. An injunction is a petition that you file in court in order to restrain or enjoin certain people from either doing, continue to do, or to threaten to do a particular act. Now, the reason why we are asking for a temporary restraining order is that there is a grave and irreparable damage to the riding public as well as to the pilot program itself. Because we believe that just a single accident, which might and most likely will occur because of the non-regulation of these 5 respondents, can actually imperil the entire pilot program. Let us all face it, no? There are a number of places, even inside Metro Manila, that is not covered by the mass transport system. Walang mga jeep, walang mga bus. And nagkakaproblema talaga yung mga basic commuters, no? People who do not have their own cars. So, that's why pumasok itong mga motorized taxis to fill in that gap. Mas lalo na sa probinsya, where talagang walang mga taxis, walang mga buses. The only mode of transportation are really just motorized yung mga motorcycles. Now, maganda nga yan kung if everybody is going to be covered by a law. But there is no law with regard to motorcycle taxis. That's why at this stage, all of the stakeholders in the TWG, meaning the consumer groups, LTO, LTFRB, MMDA, CHPG, I mean, all of these people should actually be concerned as well as have a voice in setting up the reasonable standards for purposes of passing a law which will now regulate motorized motorcycle taxis. The problem we have is that hindi pa nga nagagawa yung batas, meron ng mga sumisingit. Meron ng mga tao na hindi na sumusunod sa batas, kung tutusin. And that is what LCSP is concerned about. And recently is that it appears that there is a need for an extension, which has not been explained also to the other stakeholders. Magsasalita po yung mga iba. It has not been explained why there is a need for an extension. I mean, in the first place, I thought the 6-month period would be a sufficient period to determine whether or not it is viable to have motorcycle taxis in the Philippines, and what kind of law requirements, conditions, minimum, no? Yung ultimong, ilang bang mga drivers, may training ba yan? Gaano katagal yung training? May psychological test ba yan? May feedback mechanism ba? How about insurance? Yung mga issues na ganon, dapat should have been resolved already within the 6-month period. Why would now there be a need for an extension? You know, the one thing that comes to my mind of being a lawyer is, di ba yung, for example, if you have a probationary employee, what is the period for probationary employment? 6 months, right? During the 6-month period, there are supposed to be standards in order for a person to be regularized. That is the rule, right? And that employee must be duly notified about the minimum standards in order to become a permanent employee. Now, if for some reason the employer could not make a decision whether to regularize or not, what happens? Nagkakaroon ng extension. Yun ang yun ang sistema. Or, kini-terminate. Kini-terminate. We are actually here where sinasabi na yung technical working group daw has made a decision to extend yung pilot program. Now, we'd like also to know why is it that it is being extended. Kulang ba yung data na natanggap in order for there to be a report which can be the basis for the passage of a law to regulate motorcycle taxis? And then now, we also heard that there are 2 new players that are being considered. Parang ano yan parang, sige, if we are to analogize, parang yung isang empleyado, di ba, gusto ngayong ma-hire at maging permanente. Tapos ngayon, yung whether or not that employee is going to be permanent is now going to be dependent on the actions of 2 others. Di ba?